Maty and I be seen? Oh yeah, we can.
Hello, everyone, and welcome
to the Talking Stick Show.
It's great to have you all here. We're going to carry on with our exciting tales from our wonderful Galactic historian tour of Scotland. And tonight we have three people who shared that with us: Sean Bibby, Frida Dorian, and Jason Plum. So welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us, Laura, Dale, Maty. It's good to see you all again.
Yeah,
very good.
Good to see you guys. I missed you guys already.
Yeah, we feel the same.
Yeah, we miss everybody on the tour. And this is, I said just before we went live that this is like being back at the old hotel restaurant table again in the evening, isn't it? After a long day on the tour, and then we come down, sit around the table and have a chat. This is what this feels like. Only we're in. Dale, would you like to speak on your own show? Did you put your...
I didn't mean to do it like that. I was about to say something with my fingers then, but we're broadcasting live from the Tobin house in York. So yeah, welcome to the show. And this is fun, like, to be able to do this. It's new, and I'm looking forward to it.
We were forced into it.
Yes, because the cottage, if any of you have seen the pictures we've been putting out, and there'll be more, because we're going to do a York tour update now, because the Scottish tour update videos went so well. We're going to do York. So Andrew's already cooked loads of stuff, hasn't he? Bolognese, pizzas, and chili, and so on. So we can only get one line of internet, and Andrew's doing sessions, so we have to come out the cottage. So we would have had Andrew cooking behind us tonight, but he is back in the cottage, and we've had to come a few miles down the road to Dale to do the show.
Incredible, guys. So what would be good is to just go around and just open up by just saying who you are, a little bit about yourself, and I'd like you just to say what brought you to the Highland tour. And some of your favourite things, we'll dive more and more into the stories in a sec. But we'll start with you, Sean. Just letting the listeners know a little bit about yourself. What made you want to go to the Highland and experience a Galactic tour?
Okay. Well, first, this is Scout. He woke up from an hour-long nap as soon as we were going live to come up and
he's fading in and out of reality.
Yeah, here and there. But with the question, why did I come to the Galactic Bus Tour in 2023? Is because just with the Living the Mystical Life daily material, you'd hear Andrew say, for those who come to the next Living the Mystical Life daily, whatever it's called, event, yeah. And to me, this felt like this was that next event. 5, 6, how many ever years it was since the first one. And instantly, when you guys unveiled it, I was like, I'm going. I had a knowing that was like lightning. There was like, I am going. I'm going. And experience whatever the hell there is going to be.
Incredible, brother. And Jason, what made you want to come and join the Galactic historian tour in Scotland?
And tell people about yourself, Jason.
Tell a bit about yourself.
Yeah, ice cream salesman.
Yeah. And an incredible. He's all the way from Yellowstone as well, aren't you, Jason?
You must tell that story. Yes.
Well. The ice cream store has been a part of my life for 47 years. Well, I'm 45, but I've been in a 47-year-old family business, a lot like Andrew. So I shared a lot of similar, things with him along the way. And that's not necessarily what brought me to Galactic history, but it was really refreshing that he had a similar mode of operating. It was very business-like. I was like, oh, I very much understand, the business behind, and as you guys are understanding it from your particular angles, and it's very relatable because of the ice cream business. So I've been doing that. I've been a teacher of physical education for 15 years. I was a personal trainer for, a bunch of those years in tensegrity, like Jamila noticed. But I found Andrew Bartzis around 2014, and it's just at the right time. He's sitting on the couch talking to Lance. I was like, whoa, whoa, just like most of us who remember those talks. Stayed with him ever since through all his iterations and the very many people that he's spoken with, and he's just been the most consistent, one of the most consistent human beings with the most consistent message
Absolutely.
that I've ever really come across. That's still unlimited.
Yeah.
It's still the unlimited point of view. So you're constantly growing. And I tried to go to Barbados, and I didn't have, a passport at that time. I actually went to New York. This is an embarrassing story to be telling online.
Lightworker story.
Yeah,
Wow.
Perfect.
No, you can't.
I was so excited, and I was like, oh, I gotta go. And it was, Qigong. I was like, I'm going to go learn and study Qigong, and I'm going to meet Andrew after all this time, and it's going to be great. So I bought these plane tickets, and I then went to New York. Actually, I was at home, and I got a call from the from the airline, and they were like, "Hey, you just missed your flight." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What? Let me check." So I missed my flight. I was like, "Okay, give me another chance. I have to make it to Barbados." All right, there's one flying out of LaGuardia. Go ahead. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go drive 2.5 hours like this, to New York to meet up with my friend to call the airline and say, hey, I'm in there." And they were like, "Okay, do you have everything with your passport?" And I was like, "My passport? What? I need one of those apparently to travel."
Americans.
Came out of the cave at this moment.
So let's just go backwards a bit. So prior you planning this tour, or planning you going to Barbados, so you didn't realize you needed a passport to travel abroad?
Yes.
Yeah. just oh man, I've done lots of stuff like that before.
Yeah, I did
My
that.
Lightworker stories are much worse than that, so don't worry.
So it wasn't because I missed that opportunity, because that's already resolved itself. I've already become like a Qigong practitioner. Because I didn't get to try it there, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do it, here." And I found a great teacher, George Benner, and I work with my brother. It's a beautiful thing, and we do Qigong together. But as soon as it was dropped, just like Sean said, I was like, "Oh, I'm going." There's no doubt in my mind. As soon as you guys spoke it, I was like, "All right, I'm in." And then we did it. You guys put it together, and each of us followed through. It actually made it to Scotland, which was awesome.
It wasn't even just Scotland, was it? It was all the islands, the cost of. I mean, it was. When you look at it on paperwork, it's one thing, but actually doing all those things in one day and hopping on the islands and trying to do all this, it was a completely different story, wasn't
And other dimensions too, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From this. Yeah.
Incredible.
And all of you who came on, everyone, myself, Laura, Maty, Andrew, Jason, Sean, everyone, Frida, you all were puzzles, pieces of the puzzle which connected it, which made it so incredible. Each one of you added to that puzzle and we made such a connection.
So how about? Sorry,
go ahead.
How about you, Frida? What motivated you to come on the tour? Are you there, Frida? She must be at work.
Drinking whiskey.
She's drinking whiskey when she should be working. We'll come back to Frida.
Yay.
Moonshine. Moonshine, Yellowstone.
Just sparkling water from that.
Yes, the Yellowstone story. The Yellowstone story, Jason.
Well, yes. So do you want to, before hopefully Frida will come back, do you want to tell your Yellowstone story and why we keep quoting Yellowstone, and talk about you going to the Oban as well and going to that bar?
Oh, I don't really know why that they maybe it was the hat or the beard, but
or both
Oh,
together.
what you wearing?
But I do.
Hat, it was a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I do have a relationship with the cowboy and with that whole feeling. I think we're all kind of cowboys out here. You know, there's a freedom to what we do, and we're out here on the, you know, in the Wild West sometimes in terms of the unlimited point of view. So you got to have a certain, you know, strut. You have to have a certain way about you that I don't know, speaks of freedom, and it speaks of like, I'm here to, you know, claim sovereignty or, you know, territory or explore. This is kind of, I guess, why I look that way, because I'm doing it with all of you. But yeah, I was just shaking a maraca, and I guess those guys were like, hey, look, the little cowboys like got rhythm. So, I don't remember the story being told about me, but it was a nice night.
It was Rich, the bus driver, said he went in the bar with you and they asked him whether you were from Yellowstone.
Right.
Film star.
They got me.
So Frida, are you there? Are you back?
Yes, I was in a meeting at work. I'm working and listening to you guys at the same time. A meeting came up, so I ran back. But I was hearing you guys talk from a distance. I put the phone in the other room. I am so grateful for everything you guys have done. This was amazing vacation and finding and everything all compiled. And I enjoyed meeting every one of you. You guys are really good people. I'm just so grateful to have this. I mean, it's an amazing journey. So.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, Frida? So what made you want to join the tour? What were some of the things going on as you booked some of the feelings leading up to it?
The thing is, from childhood, I have wanted to see Scotland, and I didn't even know where Scotland was. I just knew I wanted to see Scotland. And so 3 countries have been in my focus for years. One, Scotland, Switzerland, and Egypt. And every single one of them has just come up amazingly, right, provided, like everything. And so, except Egypt, that I didn't go with Andrew last time, which I regret. But the 2 have come up. And then I've been to Glasgow before for work, just for one day. And I knew I have to go back there. And it was in my mind to go back to Edinburgh. It was always in my mind to go back. I don't know why that was in my mind. I had no reason, except my home country, Armenia, is apparently not connected to Edinburgh in Scotland somehow. And Armenia is also highlands. So it's very much like the areas we went to. It's similar in many ways, except not as green when I went there in summertime. So that connection is probably what's been calling me. And when I was there, I guess I'm in some other dimensional ways. I was walking there just as if I was on a haze in this trip. About the last year, I think all of us were, right? And because in the last day, one of the ladies said, "We wish you were more social." I said, "Really? I must have been like in another world, because I'm a lot more social than I was, but I couldn't be." I was just it was just an amazing feeling when I was there. It was the beauty of the place, the group we were together, the feelings I had, everything compiled is the reason, but I guess I had the call to go. Yeah. And I'm grateful for this opportunity. There would have been no way that I would have done this trip on my own with anybody else except this group. So this is such a gift you gave me, and I'm totally grateful. Plus meeting you guys, was such a nice thing.
Yeah,
so,
and I wouldn't feel too bad about any form of lack of social interaction, Frida, because I think we were all forced to socially interact. To be honest with you, we were all in each other's pockets, but but also, I mean, literally, my personality only literally just came back about a few minutes ago before we pressed play, and we've just been doing healings on each other. And Frida, you and we had a lot of personal time together, didn't we?
Yes, we have.
And there was a lot of change, a lot of healing that was going on, a lot of release. I
Right.
mean, all of us have shared that. Everybody here on this panel here shared that with each other during that trip, and that had its own effect as well. So while you're trying to accustom and acclimate to the new energies within, without, and then you've got the actual physical changing of places and the people that you're around, where we're all trying to find some sort of cohesion between us. It was a very high frequency, but it led to some really beautiful experiences. I know each one of us got to bond, which was really fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully said. Exactly right. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'm glad. Thank you for saying the social part. I'm usually, okay, but in that time, and that must have been my own healing. I knew I had some recall of stuff that was going on. I knew I'm in another dimension most of the time. And so, but that's, I guess, every one of us. So.
Absolutely. Frieda, I didn't notice anything antisocial about you at all. Actually,
Thank you.
to the contrary, my darling, to the contrary.
Thank you. Thank
We're
you.
all sort of finding our feet on the tour anyway, and some of us were having to find our shoes, weren't we, Sean?
Yes. Let's ladies and gentlemen, Sean.
Let's stick on Bibby.
So,
Yes.
would you like to explain the shoe story and how Sean lost his shoes?
I think there's two shoe
Shoe
stories.
story 1 or shoe story 2?
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk about shoes.
You know
So
what I'm saying.
the very first time, I don't know where we are or were, but we just came out of the big high hills in the bus, and we pulled into the most beautiful beaches in Scotland. It was so gorgeous with this yellow sand. So immediately, David Hasselhoff here, Jason, gets out of the bus and he's running to dive into the water. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, if Jason's doing it, I'm doing it too. So I get out and start running to the water. And it's a little bit nippy in the air, but the sun was out. It was gorgeous. So like a bunch of us went swimming, and you got 18 people just aimlessly walking around the beach because it's so absolutely gorgeous. Well, anyways, the first time the shoe story happened, walking back to the bus, I carried up my shoes and then set them on the ground to grab something. Get on the bus. Bus drives away. I'm like, I don't have any shoes. I think I left them at the beach, at the bus stop. So those shoes were gone. And like, unbelievably, like the next stop we made the next day, I was walking around in my sandals with socks on. But in this super small port town, some random shop had these nice Velcro shoes for me to buy.
Nice.
These very nice 3-strap Velcros. So I bought the Velcro shoes. And then the next stop we stayed, was it, how do you say it? I want to say Balaclava. Balamaca. You're muted, Laura. You're muted, Laura.
No, say it again.
There we go.
Say it again.
Balmacava, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
Balaclava.
it was that place.
Yeah, I'm just looking on the map actually, so I can see where you're talking about. Yeah, I think
And
it was the Balmacava.
That hotel
was
was
it
great.
Kinross? Was it Kinross? Yeah.
That was such a lovely spot because
Yeah.
like we all had doors or windows right outside our hotel room. And it was literally right out into the ocean. And it was like the country camping hotel spot
Was
of
that
all
the
the
day
spots.
after Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day after Sky. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's I love
Sorry,
that.
go
Anyway, so I went out to the water that morning, did qigong, set my shoes, and I was barefoot. And then all of a sudden I finished, I'm like, hey, that's my shoe.
Floating
And I-
away.
Yeah, I had to half undress and go like waist deep into the water to retrieve them. And my shoes.
Sean had to figure out his shoe karma in Scotland.
For those that are listening, Sean was one of the children of the pack. So Sean and Jamila were the babies, weren't they? They were very much
Actually followed by Jason.
by Jason as well. Yeah,
Yes.
Jason was close behind. But when we went to Loch Ness, I had some real intentions to go there. I was really looking forward to seeing that. And by the time, as soon as the bus pulled, I already had my sacred stuff ready, and I was gone out of the door, and I was just straight for the coast because we didn't have very long at some of the stops, and I wanted to make ceremony there. And so I was in this super serious sort of like shaman mode. And then a few meters next to me, Jamila and Bibby had completely taken all their clothes off, completely butt naked in the freezing cold, and gone and jumped into Loch Ness. Completely naked.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
I tried to record it, but my tablet didn't record. I thought it was recording it when it wasn't. And I had to say to them, I finished up my ceremony, I said, guys, there's a whole heap of tourists on their way down here right now.
There's a whole background story to that too. Because the night before, Jason was pumped. He's like, you know what? We got to jump in Loch Ness. And I'm like, maybe if it's sunny, it's be a little cold maybe. And he's like, oh, we're jumping in. I'm like, okay, I'll jump in with you. And then so when the day happened, we decided not to jump in because it was cold. And then I was a bit ahead of Jamila at the time. Jamila, I was a bit ahead of her, and all of a sudden she comes running up behind me, like where you going, Jamila? I actually blocked her. I'm like, we're in a tunnel, and then she's like, get out of my way! I have to go jump in at Loch Ness, and I planned this. And I'm like, you're jumping in? She's like, yes, I'm jumping in. I gotta go. Let's go. And then I'm like, I'm jumping in if you're jumping in. Then I joined her. I started running with her. And she's like, well, whatever, the details. She just got her bathing suit. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be so cold. Like, no one can see us over there. I'm going to jump in naked. She's like, you're going to go in naked? Well, like, you're going in naked. I'm going. So we all both jump in. It's quite cold. And that was a great kickstart. That was right in the, like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's when we were fresh. Everyone was tore fresh.
Right in the beginning, yes.
That's where I felt primal. I felt literally like connected to my wild being at that moment.
Yes, you were.
Getting
And
out of the
Jason
water.
as well, on that beach where you both went in swimming, and then Geraldine did as well. That was such fun watching you.
It was
Watching
beautiful.
you guys enjoy yourself frolicking up and down the beach. You did have like underwear on then.
Yeah, but it's just that one time because the thing was we only had a half hour. That's why Jamila was running so far. We had no time at Loch Ness really, so it was like in and out, and she was determined to get in the water. And it was contagious.
Yeah.
So maybe let's talk about Loch Ness then, and let's, Frida, what was Loch Ness like for you when you went there?
Loch Ness, because years ago, one of my coworkers, when I was there in Glasgow, he's a Scottish living in that area, and he said every year they go there, they camp there, and they wait for Nessie to show up, and that's somehow a local habit they do. So the whole entire time I was there, I was trying to find out, okay, where do they meet? What is their habits here? What are the locals do? So it was like, I was trying to imagine the whole time. But
As you said, the plesiosaurs don't do that anymore. The plesiosaurs don't go into that area anymore.
They don't.
The families that were using all of the tunnels underground, the aquatic tunnels, but for whatever reason they stopped using that particular area.
Food, I think it was.
Yeah, because of the fishing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So then, therefore, they would have never showed up. The Nessie would have never showed up. But they still go for a picnic there, anyways, just because it's local habit.
Yes.
I loved it there. It was beautiful. I mean, every place we've been to was beautiful. But somehow, I like the Isle of Skye a lot. That majestic mountain, somehow it's just beautiful. It just did something to me. So, yeah, it was a beautiful experience.
There were so many magical moments, so many individual magical moments, but also collective magical moments as well.
Yeah.
And what took my breath away was the sheer beauty. And there'd be times where you can't just constantly look out the window and pay attention to everything because there was so much going on in that bus. But every time you looked and turned your head, it was stunning beauty, wasn't it? Every corner we turned around, stunning beauty, just green and water, mountains and trees, and it took my breath away. It really did. So beautiful.
I kept nudging Dale, who was in the seat sort of opposite me. If he dropped off, I'm going, look.
Another mountain. I'm like,
look, big stuff.
Yeah. Jason, what was your favorite bit of the tour, or your favorite place, or your favorite moment?
Favorite, the stones were very powerful for me, and I would like to share and talk about that a little bit, but
Hellenish or
I think
Brodka?
the first ones that we went to
Brodka,
in the
really
rain
Brodka. Yeah.
when it was wide open, and we spent a little time with each other beforehand, and then had some ceremonial time together before we kind of parted, and then got to go off. But I just want to say real quick, like Maty, I've said that to my buddy, that it was kind of like Guantanamo. You know how they put you in torture chambers, and they have heavy metal music playing, and they just assault your senses.
Yeah.
It was like the opposite of that. You're just tortured by it. Was anti-torture. Just mountain, rock, grass, beautiful sky, water, serenity. Smells nice. It's fresh. It was a full-on assault. Yeah, totally agree. But the stones for me, opened up like, and I think this is probably why it's my favorite. It opened up a channel of emotion in me that still hasn't been purged. Like I'm almost getting teared up now, but that was like one of the first times that I just began to cry before the assault, for the beauty of everything there, like that we all made it. Was like, oh, I'm gonna cry that we all got to, share these moments together as a group of people who.
Jason, you shed many tears, didn't you? But
yeah,
the tears that you shed were generally a positive emotional release or happy tears.
Yeah.
I think that was it was so moving. Just the scenery, the beauty, but then also the love that we all developed for each other over that short period of time, going through whatever we were going through. I mean, the fact that sickness run through the bus as well, that we all caught that cold. I mean, that challenge, that took it to a different level as well, didn't it?
Yeah. And everybody was still cool. Like how often is it okay if, is everything okay when one person in your house is sick? It's like, don't go near that person. They're going to be upset. We had like 12 people and still jovial and still hanging and still like putting forth in this endurance challenge of how beautiful can this be? We all wanted to test that. And we pushed each other, and it was amazing.
Jason, and that's the incredible power of what the trip did for you and a lot of others, is allowed you to remember and how beautiful joy is. True joy of being there, being in such a unique place with such unique people, experiencing such a replenishment energy. And I felt that as well. Like at times I went round and there was a real replenishment of my soul that I remembered of how beautiful this world is and how beautiful nature is. And having this experience with friends and getting to know each other, socializing, because for me, socializing like that, I've not done that before for a long time. And it was the universe was like, right, now you have to elevate yourself in this way. We all had to do it. We're all there for a reason to elevate, learn from each other. And we're in such a unique space together and such a zone of trust. There wasn't any fighting. There wasn't any drama. There was just pure getting on with each other. We have our ups and downs. People get moody. That's just life. But there was a common theme of respect.
Yes.
And I really appreciate that from everybody.
Yes. And also, the first sort of 3 days, we were very social, weren't we? People were talking, exchanging their stories. Everybody was getting to know each other. And then we switched on the healing. So what was that like, Jason, when we went from, you guys getting to know us as a group, as teachers, to then wham into the healing itself?
You know what? It brought it to the next level. And it was another reason why I didn't even know, that was going to be a part of it. So it was kind of like an added bonus. It was like a surprise that we're doing all this healing just by showing up. And then on top of that, you're going to have, like a Kung Fu artist, like rewiring your energy with his passion and his, intent and good intentions. And then you have Dale sitting beside a Lucia light that's, guiding people through, traumas from birth and so on and so forth, and guiding you through like a visual experience. And Laura's doing CST, and Andrew's monitoring the whole thing. And then at times we all started to work together, and it was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, action stations. That's cool when that happens, right?
Yeah.
Action stations.
It was so cool.
Surgeon runs in.
Yeah, it was super cool. That kind of communication and community, with the intention of doing something that's as good or as cool as healing. It was a pleasure. It was a joy and a pleasure to be a part of, and to be able to see done at these higher levels. So
Yeah.
How about you, Sean?
Oh, the integrated healing. It was fantastic. Like when it started, I was like, all right, here we go. Because everyone, I think it was like around day 7, maybe?
Day 3, day 4.
Day 4.
What?
Yeah.
Day 4.
Yeah.
It was in that big hotel. We had that whole room downstairs.
It was Stornoway.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was so sooner. Yeah, it was just the peak when everyone kind of hit their first tired peak. So it was like perfect time. And it really just put everyone back up to the ceiling again. But I tell this to every one of the listeners right now. The energy in that room was beyond anything that I've ever experienced before.
Yeah.
Spaceship.
Yeah.
It was cosmic. It was just like pure plasma in that room. And it really solidified for me the understanding of what this group, what's the word we called it? Not group healing, but
Unified.
well, not
Combined
therapy.
the combined therapies with a group. It really solidified what that really does, because the energy in the room was so high, and that was part of the healing process. Because we had some tools like the Lucia light, and I realized like the energy in the room was what was activating so much of the Lucia light experiences,
and vice versa.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
vice
because
versa.
the Lucia light really engages the visual senses and the colors and the geometries, but it also reflects what's happening inside you, but also inside the room too. So because you could hear people going on the PEMF mat, you could hear Maty in the corner just and like Laura's right in front of you, and all those energy, and then you have the chairs of everyone watching, like, and then you got the Lucia light, whoever's on it themselves, just strobe lighting you, and you mix that together, and then you don't know what's going to happen. You really don't. It's like a perfect recipe for a strong transmutation.
Yeah.
And what were the treatments like for you, Sean, on the Lucia mat and going on the? You had a psychic surgery with Maty and CST with Laura, didn't you?
Yeah, like with Maty, it was friendly and fun, and at the same time, like it helped me with my groundedness. It really helped me put together a lot of ideas, because Maty used a lot of magnets in the treatment, and I found them friendly and amazing. And me and those magnets are going to have a big friendship in the future. So I'll just tell part of my experience, actually. So Maty's was really strong, and my imagination process just blossomed. And so many of these imageries that I've had in my mind for so long, I realized that they were actually spaces within myself. But like, I figured out what my heart space was as a physical place inside of me that I've been going to on a periodical basis, but I never connected that, oh wait, that's my heart space.
It's real.
And we have spaces like we got liver space and spleen space and spinal cord space. We have brain space. And these spaces all have things inside of them. And I just made that final connection of, wait, when I'm thinking about this is that. And that was like, bam. That was I got goosebumps at that moment. That really, really sunk in.
Yeah.
And then with the
super easy to work on.
What's that, Maty?
It was super easy to work on.
Well, it was great because the energy in the room was fantastic.
Wasn't it just?
Because it helped me see my future a little bit, but just making that connection was groundbreaking for me. I had to make sure I wrote that shit down.
Did you have CST, Sean?
I don't think it did.
No.
Did you? No.
CST is transformative.
Yeah.
When you couple that in like that, and when we're doing it with the light as well, it's a whole nother level of healing.
Yeah, and for the person doing it as well, and for me or whoever's doing the CST, the light just works with you. What we've been finding, and what you've been saying here, Sean, is the way the Lucia light interacts and works with you is quite incredible, and it enhances everything. It enhances for me the feeling of the cranial sacral rhythm and the body's wisdom. You know, my wisdom working with the person on the table. Their body wisdom, really.
It kind of adds a dimension to the senses, doesn't it? Because just being as light is such a visual experience, and nothing really gets to more exterior than vision, and it really adds the visionary process to whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
And what you've got, so when you've got everyone and all the practitioners, everyone in that room, we all shared a common quality, and that was passion. And the passion within that room about healing and self-love and self-care, it created such a safe, sacred space beyond this world. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens when you get a combination of masters together, where they just know how to work with the energy. They know how each other work, how you can work in a co-creation of non-competition, but just allow a unification of coming together beyond the regular constructs of what the healing people say out there or teach you. It felt beyond that. It felt like we were going to new levels and new layers of dreams, which we're meant to be dreaming now. And it was an honor to see Maty, honor to see Laura and all of you and Andrew all together in this space, because we've done it many times before, other lifetimes in different scenarios. And we're all here doing the great work now. We're here on the show. We're doing our thing, and it's beautiful to see.
That is the passion that speaks for itself, isn't it? You know, I don't know how many people I saw in that short space of time, but it was one in, one out, one in, one out, one in, one out. And by the end of it, I was sweating.
Yeah.
But they were coming from mat to light to mat light over to this mat, you know? And it was like, and it was well, you were there, you witnessed it, you saw it was like, it was a very unique moment. I was absolutely in my element, as tired, exhausted as I was. It was just one of those very special moments where the universe come together and said, wow, just check this out. It was very, very unique. I really enjoyed doing it in that scenario with us all together in the one room like that as well.
You did, and you actually said, sod the tour, this is what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's right.
Activate Maty mode.
Yeah. He was like, I love this. I love
yes.
It. It's like, yeah, you do.
We all,
and you were awesome on that. You know, I was just going to interject one other thought. When you talked about people were sick and others got from that, you know what it seemed to me? It was a chance of forgiveness. Like, you're right. Nobody talked about it. Nobody made a big deal about it, which usually people do in the whole world. But it seemed like, so what? And this, I guess, internally, this was a forgiveness thing. Whatever might have started somewhere in the past history that somebody did affected people. And this time it manifested as a sickness, but nobody made a big deal about it. It means, I suppose, there was a lot of forgiveness and healing as a result of that particular whatever that happened. It seemed to me that way.
Beautiful.
Well said.
There was one point where the only point that got me was where we were going to the ferry pools. And it was so windy, so rainy and so cold. And I got a quarter of the way there and I said, I think I'm going to regret this. I really... And so it's the only time I did pussy out. But other than that, it was funny because every time we went into one of those high frequency moments, and there were many, it was on and off the bus, in healings, out of healings. And there were healings going on left, right and centre, because not only are us that were running the tour, the master healers, people on the tour are master healers as well. You know, we had these are Andrew's students, for God's sake. So you know, there was healing going on everywhere. But when we stepped into those superluminal moments, it was almost as if that cold just disappeared, didn't it, for a short while? And then we're all back on the bus, and then when we're doing the healings or we're running around on the beach or whatever, it was nowhere to be seen.
I had one time in the table where I got so dizzy, and it was when we went to Sky on the night time.
Yeah.
It was for 15 minutes. I couldn't see. Everyone was spinning. But I rided it out and I was fine.
Nothing to do with the whiskey.
No, not at all.
Okay. So, Frida, what's one of your favourite moments, Frida?
One of your best memories? It's really working.
Oh, she might have.
She's drinking the
popped off.
whiskey.
She's drinking the whiskey again. Yeah, you come back and tell us in a minute.
No, tell me again. I was just.
Angie.
How did you know I bought a whiskey?
Yes. We're psychic, that's why.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to get some water to drink. Somehow it looks like my throat got stuck. Well, repeat. What did you ask me?
Well, you go ahead and get some water if you want, Frida.
No, I just put the kettle to get warm.
Okay, well, I was just saying, what's some of your favourite memories? What's something that really sticks out for you as a highlight or a very ingrained high frequency moment?
Well, the Isle of Skye with that mountains was really, really awesome. The hotel we stayed at, where we could see the ocean in front of us, and they were like, that walk was just so beautiful. The more into remote areas, the less people and less buildings. Somehow I felt a lot more grounded. I felt more free. I guess I was feeling freedom. Yeah, that's kind of the overall area. Everything was fine. I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint where, but the areas where we were, a lot of other people were arriving, other buses, I felt congested. So I had to like walk away from people just to feel the nature. But the less population, the more, the walk to the ferry waters, I felt the same. I felt I can only go so far because I know I don't need to make it all the way to the end. Somehow I knew that. And of course, the rain confirmed it. So I got back.
It's a better stay. Yeah.
The rain demanded it.
Yeah.
I said, no, Maty, no.
Yeah.
A lot of
And I asked for a sign. I said, okay, if this is for me to go all the way there, then let me go. But if it isn't, give me a sign. I asked my higher self. And then my coat got really wet. My blouse got really wet. I said, it's a sign. I need to go back.
And I'll just tell you, Frida, there isn't an all the way there, because Dale and I went for ages and the path still went on and on and on. And Tina and Ashley went further than us. Yeah. And that path just disappeared up into that mountain. So I don't think there was an end to that. It was
a stairway to heaven.
Richard saying it's 30-minute walk every time, and it turned out for a 2-hour walk instead. That was a common theme of the trip. How long's the walk, Richard? 30 minutes.
Yeah. So in that case, thanks for sharing that, because I kept thinking, did I really get the message right? I was there. How else can I get to that? But good, because I made it to the second bridge and I said, done. I have made it to as far as I can. Well, that walk was beautiful. Usually on the normal times, this is the kind of walk I like to do. All other walks we have done, they're like, usually that's where I usually go for hiking in California. We have lots of trails like that. Right. However, in Scotland, that nature and the beauty and the fresh air was just so magnificent. So, the
hostility has it. I mean, it's not hostile, but it is. You imagine if you were just dumped there and left and drove away, you'd be in a very dire circumstance, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But it just the magnificence and the sheer, I don't know.
And I've been sharing my pictures with my friends, and every one of them says how majestic. I said, you had to be there. The pictures don't describe what it was. Up close was much, much nicer than any picture and video I've taken. So,
and also it was because of the algorithm of all of us on the bus being there.
That's true.
Creating that, and in some extent, creating that photo as well.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. The energy that's created, as we were saying, when you're all together, and the energies changed, didn't they? They shifted from island to island. I was moody on Skye at the last stop, and I didn't like
we named the Moody Massey.
I didn't like the cafe. The last one on Skye, if you guys remember, before we crossed the bridge.
Oh yeah.
So then we crossed the bridge and went to
free food.
Awful. Yeah, it wasn't good. That was the worst stop of the whole tour, wasn't it? Yeah, that. But the hotel made up for it. The hotel was really good food when we got over to the mainland.
Bit of sticky toffee pudding, guys.
Yeah.
We had sticky toffee
we got
the whole way around.
Yeah. And then the Orkney energies again were so different, weren't they? We had the rough sea crossing.
Oh, that sea crossing.
Wild.
Mate,
That
was, when I tell people about that, we had a really rough crossing, that doesn't actually describe it in any way, shape or form, does it? The thing was it was like this, wasn't it? We had two blades and the thing was fucking lifting like that and then go all the way across the ocean.
It couldn't have been more symbolistic either. Like, you guys are going on a venture. That was nearer to the start, too. It's like, I think it was the first ferry, right?
Yeah, second day, I think.
Yeah, it was the first ferry. On the
First ferry.
Yeah.
Right after the distillery.
Yeah.
Distillery, yeah.
So a little distillery magic, and then literally the most wild crossing.
Yeah.
And then onto that weird ass island.
Oh, that island was just, frankly, I really liked it. It's like
I said I won't go back, but I know I will.
it was all covered in a little haze. For me, it's like the whole time just had this nice little haze, little time distortion feel around the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it had this like
the hotel was had those spinning doors, didn't it, and all that. And I met with Geraldine, and I was like, I was a bit freaked out about it. Me and Dale were having a joke, and I was on my own. I was walking down the corridor, and it felt so strange. And Geraldine was walking up the corridor, looking with exactly the same look on her face.
Yeah, it is strange, isn't it?
The hotel's a bit strange. She went, it's the fucking Shining.
That's what I said too. It's like The Shining when he goes to the remember when he goes into the other room and it's the hotel of the past.
Yeah.
It was like we were in a hotel, but we weren't seeing the past, but we were in it, and they were all around us, and everything was present with us. It was just like that.
Even
not sure why this sounds fun, but it felt like we were walking into a murder mystery. And by the time we got out of the pub that night, it became one.
Yes, it did. It did down at the pub. But just to shout out for the Stromness Hotel, because what
great
awesome
people.
staff,
great people,
awesome chef, that lovely lady.
Oh, that lady there, that beautiful lady.
Vanessa.
What was her name?
Vanessa,
right. That's it. Wonderful.
Awesome chef.
Excellent chef.
They couldn't do more for you. It was absolutely fantastic. But it was like stepping back in time, or as Sean said stepping onto a murder mystery movie scene, wasn't it?
And I think at that place, I actually sent a message to my mom. I'm like, Mom, this place we're staying at is just like Grandpa's house. But it's nice. It was actually real because it was clean. Everything was really clean. Everything was ran really, really well. Yeah. And it just had all these old things in it. It was fun.
Yes, it was fun.
And he literally got off the ferry, walked for a few feet, and there's the hotel, wasn't it? So it's like right in front of where the ferry pulls in. So it was just such a small. None of us moved more than 100 yards, did we, in any given moment? Really?
It did have good flat screens, though. I've got to. It did have big flat screen TVs.
Yeah.
The TV was probably the size of my iPhone. It was like on the wall, and as you went back, you had to squint to see it. But that made it, like, all of those little things made it so unique, and the experience at the pub and figuring out the karma we shared together, that just was bonus added value to the trip. It was incredible, really, really incredible island. I would go back there. I definitely would. I think when you go to places so fast, so quick, I felt Skye for me was like that. I felt I'd want to go to Skye on its own. Yeah. I'd want to take my time, first go there and be there for a while. I felt like the place was it was powerful as hell. And going from one place to the other, I couldn't really experience as much as I want to next time. I just want to take a trip to Skye one day and stay there for at least a week.
So
remember
how many
first town you kind of like?
Say that again.
Remember that first town you kind of liked, Dale? That little small one that was tucked away.
Dunkeld, where the Beatrix Potter Gardens were.
Oh yes.
No, was that
was the same town, wasn't it?
No, Dunkeld was the one afterwards.
Near the beginning.
Oh yeah,
Near the
Richard,
beginning.
near Richard's hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved
Yeah.
that place with the walk when we walked to those trees.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
was,
waterfall.
You were
yes.
great.
Yes.
You were like, oh, I
yeah.
really like this place. I really like this place.
Yeah.
Because you were having a
Yeah.
full thing with that spot.
The Hermitage, the Hermitage or Hermitage. That's right. Yeah,
Might
yeah.
be a place
I
to
remember
move
that.
to in the future.
So, what was it like, guys? Because you were able to experience Andrew in his full, like, galactic historian flow at times, weren't you? Like in the pub with the Karma and Frida too. You know, you heard him on the bus when he got up the front, and he goes into this galactic historian mode where he is able to just tell you stuff that's quite incredible, isn't it? So it's a pleasure, isn't it, to be part of that and to be able to hear him talk about the land and so on.
Right. Actually, I shared with Andrew a bit that I've been, for some reason, playing all my life. And I don't even know who taught that to me. So when I played it for him, because I got him, I was very careful not to take too much of Andrew's time, because I think he needed a time to himself also. And so, but that one chance I had, I sat down next to him in that coffee shop. He was alone, miraculously, he was alone by himself. So I sat next to him and I said, Andrew, I've been playing this beat all my life. What is it? He said, play it again. And I do it with my hands. And then he said, this is 2 bit. It's 1 bit of the child and 1 bit of the Mother Earth. And I said, oh my God, I've been playing this all my life. And so then he played that for everyone. He added some shamanic sounds in the background. So I turned around and I said, Andrew, is that the sound? He said, yes. And I said, oh, so everybody got to hear it. I don't know if you remember that. Andrew played a bit. That's what he shared with me during that short time.
And he's a human being as well, right? He's a human being. That's what everyone needs to learn as well.
Yeah.
Andrew is a human being. And that's another
Right.
part about these kind of journeys where you come and spend time with us is you get to see that part of us all. We are each our own unique human beings with flaws and all the other things that come along with being a human beings, but yet the mastery is there when you need it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so I was very careful not to allow everyone have their own personal time, because I realized it takes something to go inside yourself in order to really feel the depth of what you're feeling, you know? And so I was careful. And I even one time I said, Andrew, I'm careful not to come too close and spend too much time with you, just because I want you to have your privacy. He said, that would be nice. Because I realized you wanted that. So anyways, yeah, just something.
Not just Andrew, it's also the land, I think, reflects back to you, doesn't it? Highs and lows and reflections. And there's something about the land of Scotland and the makeup of the rock and everything, the crystalline rock, which amplifies everything.
Right.
And shows us parts of ourselves, really.
Right. And our endurance to go through that many bus rides. I've never been in any bus that long. Endurance, it was every time we put the luggages in and out, it was like 10 different trips in my life, because it was right. Every town was different, every trip was different, and the hotels, as far as I was concerned, the food was fine. In fact, I got to enjoy to share, when Maty, you shared the blood pudding. Yeah, thank you. I mean, everywhere I go in the world, I try to their food, and this was to me, all the food was okay. I'm not very food connoisseur, so I just eat to live. So for me, everything was fine. But the one hotel we stayed at, that was the oldest hotel, but it was the most quaint hotel, because first of all, there was this, nowadays you put your key card. No, this was the lock. And the lucky the little kid, and then you would look at outside the window. There's a lamb out there, and I thought that is so cute. It was like, I've never experienced that in my life. So this was just really awesome. That experience was really, really interesting.
So there were lots of adventures along the way, weren't there, guys?
Yeah.
So I'll tell my autistic story.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's the Wild West story. Maty walks into a boat and meets an autistic girl.
To the viewers.
Yes.
So we do teach to be in your body a lot of the time, but sometimes as practitioners we don't do quite what we preach all the time. So I do have a postulate for being out of my body, but this is because of the role that I use within our small community here and what we do. So I spend quite a lot of time out checking up on what's going on out there and fiddling around
in the unseen
world, just checking on everything.
Busy in the unseen.
Exactly. And so especially because of the frequencies and how we were and how many healings were going on and all of the other pressures that were on, I was in and out of my body quite a bit throughout the trip, not in a negative way, in a way that I was doing. I intended to do it. So anyway, we went onto one of these ferries, and then we sat down. There was an autistic girl. She must have been in her early 20s, I would say. And she was one of these autistic children that kind of, well, not children, she was a woman, but, shout and bang their heads and shout quite a lot. And, the energy was palpable, wasn't it? You could feel her presence. You couldn't ignore it. And so I just peeked into the unseen world because I know what they're like. And I saw her and she saw me. And so we had this beautiful little interaction. And then as I tried to pull my energy away, she said no. And she pulled me with such force, it almost pulled my spirit out of my body. And, I've had battles in outer space that don't compare to what that young lady did to me. I've never felt anything like that. And then what pursued was a game of entertainment for her. Would you like a cat and mouse game where I was very much the mouse?
Yeah.
And all I did was constantly try to pull this, and she was saying, wasn't she? Stop doing that!
Yes.
Stop doing that! Leave it alone!
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remove these cords that she's put in my back. Basically, what she wanted to do, she was trying to trap me in a dream world and have sex with me and have children with me. And she was adamant that she wanted to trap me, but it was multifaceted because there was all the stuff going on in the unseen, and then her seen version of her was running up and down and making fuss just as we were trying to get this out of me, or I was trying to get it. So there was this whole game with the whole ferry journey. I was there just trying to remove these cords while she just played with me, and then eventually, once the journey was over, and I had to have Dale and Andrew put me back together again, take the pieces out that should be left. But there was the photo. I don't know if Joel has it or not.
I've been thinking about the whole time.
Next to Jason, like we're about to get the bus and he misses the stop, and you can tell he's contemplating his life. he's just stood there. He's like he had 5 rounds with Mike Tyson or something like that.
Completely green in the gills, more than I've ever seen. Like it was like
I've been bent over and done without any lube, mate. That's how it felt. I was standing there next to Jason with the sad face on, just like, oh, fuck you.
And I remember Maty, because Maty said to me, he tapped me and said, look over there, and asked me to obviously shut my eyes, connect. I just looked at it and went, I'm good. and I completely didn't even engage 1 ounce to it because I could just feel, and it just gives you that experience, doesn't it? Like someone who's autistic like that, of how much they're in the other world as well, and how they're the master of that because they are all the time, mostly in that world, some of them in here. So again, Maty's learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Everyone's learned a lot from that interaction.
Great university teaching.
Demon holes.
Look at Sean's cat. That cat is look.
Yeah.
If you could see your cat the way we're watching her now.
That's better effects than the original Predator.
Yeah, it is.
It's phasing in and out of reality, Sean.
Yeah.
It's like your cat's
Yeah.
vanishing.
What is this? Who's this cat? Who do you think you are? He's like,
Oh.
So what about you, Laura? What were some of your favourite moments of the journey?
Oh, well, there were just so many. I love Kalanish and discovering that earth energies form these tiny, tiny crop circles in grass. Because both Andrew and I were looking at them, and I said, Andrew, that's weird, the way the grass has gone in circles. It's like a small creature has sat on them and flattered them, like a cat sitting on long grass would leave it sort of flat in a ring.
So perfect.
Like a ferry, yes. And they were all over. And He said they were earth energies, just like crop circles. And that was how the energy was moving across Callanish, which absolutely bowled me over. That was amazing. And I love Callanish anyway, and sharing it with everybody. And we all talked to Andrew before we went in was fabulous. Like Jason, I love the energies of Brodgar. Even though it was raining, I mean, we were able to do the ceremony with Andrew first, a little bit of ceremony. Disappointed we couldn't touch the stones, but we did, I think, further along at Skegness. Skegness.
Yeah.
We were able to touch the stones, and that was pretty mystical there, talking to the stones. I loved the last day with Sean and Ashley and who else
Jamila
came in? Jamila, Dale, who else came? Linda came, and Russ, and we went to Isle of Mull, crossed Isle of Mull, which was stunning, and then that ferry ride without the coach. So we left the coach on Mull, took a small ferry over to Iona, which was out of this world beautiful. It was a
White
warm
sandy
day.
Beaches.
We should have swum.
Yeah.
We should have swum.
Tried.
Yeah, it was stunning.
I
Absolutely
love
stunning.
Mull.
Yeah, Mull isn't it also? And then the ferry ride about half an hour out to Stafford, and that was just amazing. It was a beautiful day. It wasn't cold, was it? You got to see, there's 2 caves there, but you got to see Fingal's cave from the outside, and then us all going ashore and watching Sean sprint up across the rocks, the little mountain goat he is.
That place was dangerous.
Wasn't
And
Tesla
not because of the ground, but it was like tempting me. I didn't realize till after, but it was putting so much energy into me that I was running around in circles at the end. And I was like, what is happening? This is like a trap. So much energy there. It was
huge in all those basalt pillars, isn't it? And we were able to go right inside the cave, and that really was magical. Yeah, and I loved Iona. There was so many fantastic times, so many different interactions with everybody on the coach, forming an individual as well as a collective relationship with everybody on the coach. And we all had a little bracelet at the end to show,
Still got mine.
to keep, and Andrew wears his, because that bond, that
Power Rangers assemble.
that bond and that connection we formed is like unbreakable. It was absolutely beautiful because we all shared we shared a lot of collective experiences and also individually, one-to-one, even over dinner, even just having a drink with somebody. It was all very, very special to me, very special. And I thank each and every one of you, everyone who came on, and the guys here, and we're just about to start another adventure, but that was really, really special. What about you, Dale? What was yours?
So one of them was the Callanish standing stones. There was a stone I was connected to straight away to walk over to it, and I started sharing a lot of my life story with the stone, my trials and tribulations of what I've gone through to get there on the tour, where I am today with my work and so on. And the stone was actually asking me loads of questions about my life. How did it feel as a human going through that? And there was a huge conversation with me and the stone. And as I went up to it, I could feel the stone was saying, now it's time to dream your new dream. And Andrew walked up to me and said that. He goes, the stone's saying that to you. And I said, and there was that. So as I was speaking, Andrew came over, then confirmed and said, the stone's saying you're ready for vision and new dreams now. And that was so incredible. And with everyone there was just such a beautiful frequency of that land. It was so pure. It was so high energy. There wasn't any weirdness there. It was very sacred. And one of the other ones was Smoo Cave in the spine of Scotland for me. Yeah. That fucking blew me away. That felt like I was home. And as I went from the Smoo Cave into the car, I had some visions of the ancestors of the land there. And as I went for a walk with Laura and a few others, as we went up, Sean, Jason, we all went for a walk up that top bit to that top and down. Yeah. There was something about that place. I felt it was a pilgrimage site. And I remember Andrew talking about the spine of Scotland being a pilgrimage site for the Picts. And he was saying that like there was I think it was a throat chakra area around that area of Scotland. So as I got there, it just felt like I was home. And so probably the spine of Scotland for me was my favourite bit out of all the trip, definitely. And do you remember as we went to the ferry how beautiful it was when we crossed over into that ferry and just coming out of that island? There was just something so magical about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And open.
So for me, I had three. I mean, there were so many moments you can't. Each was their own unique one.
Yeah.
But obviously, it was the healing sessions that we did in the hotel on the ground floor. I absolutely had a ball when I was doing that. I still, right now, it's actually fundamentally changed the way I do healing.
Yeah.
And has unlocked some new potentials for me as well. Just because it's very different, not very different, but it has its differences doing it in person as to doing it remotely. But then obviously doing it in that format with so many people, one after another, with other shamans doing other treatments at the same time, it just gave me a passion. It gave me a passion. It gave me motivation. There was another time where we were on one of those islands. I forgot which one it was now, with the crap sandwich. I think it was that island. We had the rubbish sandwiches. All we had was sandwich and soup. Remember?
Oh God, yeah.
That was where I was moody.
Was it right? That one there. Remember?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't. I don't think that was Sky, was it?
No, I don't think it was.
No.
We just had a moment. I was sat by some brackens with Jamila.
That Stone Age looking place.
Yeah, it was. It was very, very strange.
The museum when Andrew we were falling asleep to that guy talking.
It
was a museum. There was a guy who was in the museum. I'm not joking. He had the most comforting, relaxing, falling asleep voice. And like, do you remember him? He was there. He was speaking, and it was such a unique Scottish accent, but it was making me really sleepy. And I was like passing out.
Was that like the Hobbit house?
Yeah.
So I love that one. The moment where I was talking
with the peat being burnt in the.
And it was the Golden Eagles came down. That was so I was talking with Jamila and we was having a conversation. It was a very deep one about life, and this Golden Eagle came down and looked us square in the eye. Yeah, I noticed that as well. Looked us square in the eye, and that was a stunning moment. And then obviously that church at the end.
The chapel, and you singing.
Oh my God, with the cat.
Meow meow.
That singing. That's the song you had, Maty, was so awesome. Like I could get goosebumps as I was listening to it.
Freedom, I've waited a long time to do that.
Yeah. You guys, you've talked with the stones and everything, but the entire time I noticed the sky was watching us. I would see images, my pictures would show faces, eyes. The entire time we were there, we were being watched from the sky. The clouds were forming, and it was amazing. And it's like I kept looking up, saying, "Okay, who's watching now?"
Like, hey, these guys are finally doing something down there.
You're not wrong, Billy, because that's the feeling I got. Is that I mean, if you take that video in the chapel, for instance, where the snow comes down, because we manifest spirit ourselves through our connection to spirit. Spirit manifests through and around us. It's not. We don't move to spirit; we become it. Well, we are the facilitators of it. And when you get that many practitioners who are bound by teachings such as Andrew's, which, let's face it, they are advanced teachings, okay? And when you get them all together like that, it was like we carried around this bubble of reality with us, didn't we? And it was palpable anywhere you went. I mean, these were high energy places, but then once us crazies got off the bus, anything was possible.
And I think that's why as soon as Andrew put me in the light, and I've never taken drugs, anything, never been in the light. I've hardly done anything except just on my own meditation. The moment he put in there, in the first 30 seconds, I was already flying. And I said, you must be watching the sky all this time. That's affected me. I was like airborne right away.
Straight into the night state.
Yeah.
We did see a golden eagle as well. We did see a golden eagle from the coach, if you guys remember that.
Yes. I took a picture. Actually, that eagle show the eagle was sitting. And then I talked to it. I said, watch me. I'm going to take a picture of you. The moment I said that, the eagle turned around and looked at me. So I took a picture.
Cool, then selfie.
Yes.
I should submit that because I had 3 pictures. It was looking forward and then looking forward and then turning at me. One after the other. I'll submit that in the chat. It was amazing picture. And I was on the side, standing on the side, not sitting in a crowd. So it was a special moment, a gift from the bird.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah. Put that on the Facebook or somewhere, Frida. That would be
And there's a
see
lot
that.
that we can't talk about here as well that were very special. You know, obviously each person's individual healings. But there was a lot, wasn't there? And Jason, we had some cool time, didn't we?
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We had some really special time. Your particular style of healing resonates with me through your voice, and it hits vibrations for me, which is it really just makes me like think expansively about what are you, Laura said it. What are we doing as a collective that's working so well? So part of it's these vibrations that we're sending. So when it's like carved out intentionally, and somebody is a master like as Maty is at delivering certain messages at certain higher and higher frequencies of vibration, you just feel that, and you very much appreciate it. And then when it starts to like reflect and resemble like your own energy, like the way that like Maty and I share a couple things in common, like energetically and like stylistically, and so much of it brought me to tears and laughter in our last session together, because it was like I've literally done the bow and at an ayahuasca ceremony, and
it's like starting a UFC fight.
That's when I'm coming for you. If you see me get my bow out, shit's about to go down. But that was the part for me that was so wonderful about this whole journey was us as practitioners watching each individual being go through their own dark night, but also their own healing at the same time, whilst we're going through our own. It was very, very unique. It wasn't just a journey around Scotland. It was a journey in and out of many different realms, but so many different observations. I was so many different people in any given moment, you know, and not in a negative way, in a good way. It was it's one of those things, you know, like a DMT trip. Once it starts, it ain't over till it's over, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it was very much that frequency.
Yeah. And it was so real. Like the aching and the crying that I was doing was this making more room for it in a way. You know, I was making more room for it to allow more in, and it just became like all eyes were on us, Frida. Like you got to the point where you couldn't look at a rock, and we studied some, you know, of the faces, but everything was looking at you, and it was interested. And we were like looking like we were working with each other so well. It was incredible. Like I ended up aching in my bones at the thought of our fellowship like parting. I still feel the ache. And that's part of how I know it's so real, is like that's what I feel when I miss you. When
there was a lonely moment on that bridge, right? On that train bridge in Edinburgh. Yeah. And it was started to rain, and we were all packing the bags, and everyone was in their own little.
Yeah. And they were there too. Sean and Jason were there a couple more days, weren't you?
It was a sad time.
Yeah. Yeah. That must have felt weird just being you two in Edinburgh at the end.
A little bit.
You're gonna talk about this or fly, Jason?
Come on.
Go ahead, share some stories.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Hotel Britannia.
It was just a cruddy hotel. It was just such a flip-flop from the rest of the experience. And it was just full of just hardcore people from Britain. You know, we're used to, you know, you go into the hotel breakfast room and he's got the news TV right there and he's yelling at you, et cetera, et cetera. So that was like a different experience. And that was like, time to go home. I was actually really ready to go home at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are many different sides to every place that you go, and Scotland is, you know, it has its other sides as well. We did get to experience some of that. With quite a few demons around.
That place had a lot. I was like, this place doesn't have demons. This place is ran by archdemons that don't even have to show up.
Yeah.
It has an infrastructure. It's like gangs.
Well done, demons. Good job.
Yeah. 5 stars.
So we got siphoned out of the end of the trip there. Yeah. It's something I wanted to add. Like, really, we were the proverbial meeting of remarkable men. Like just the gathering that we had was just up there with the greatest minds, just being us, just coming together. That was true magic.
And it took a while for everybody's personalities to come out. But when they did, beautiful synergy.
Shout out to Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob.
Bob, who started it
Opened
off.
up like a star.
Yeah. Oh, and Russ and
Yeah.
Rich.
All of
Oh,
them.
Rich,
Russ,
everybody, Rich, the bus driver.
the
But
Joker.
Bob, when us
Sir
four,
Bob.
me and
Sir Bob
me,
the First.
me, you, and Dale and Andrew were in the taxi coming into Edinburgh, and Dale saw this homeless person on the side of the road. It was Bob.
We were driving past, and he had his hood up, and he had his long beard like a red hoodie, and he was on the floor, sat down, looking like he was
On the
asking for
pavement.
change. And I turned around and I went, and first thing I felt was bad for the homeless guy, and I went, oh look, it's a homeless guy. And no, it's Bob.
Bob Bogle.
That was the first.
That was our first meeting with our.
I know you're listening, Bob.
Yeah,
We love you.
we love you, Bob.
Love you.
Brother
And I got
Bob.
a story with Bob and Jason. Because like I first thought everyone was thugs and homeless people when we met.
Yeah.
But like after we found out that Bob and Jason were murderous brothers together,
Yeah.
I started seeing all the synchronicities come out with them.
All the time.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but half of the hotels had the little half wall in the showers. Like it was just kind of like this little screen. And then this one morning, Bob just, and these half walls that they have in the bathrooms, what are they doing? And he's just going on a full thing about this. I'm like, yeah, those are kind of stupid. And then not like 30 minutes, an hour later, Jason comes out. He's like, these walls they got in the bathroom are stupid. You fucking brothers. Is it the same stuff?
Yeah, Sir Bob
Yeah.
the First. His eyes were shining blue by the end of the tour. He seemed to be the one who got the most energized out of all of us by the end of it. He was ready to do another tour.
Yeah.
And that wonderful photo of his beard that we didn't know.
Oh,
When I
the
took the
split
photo,
beard where it's in two bits.
It went
Yes.
divided perfectly in two. Brilliant photo.
It was a
Yeah,
funny nut.
that was fun. That was fun. So did we all get our karmic resolution in Scotland, I wonder?
I think we did.
I think we did. Do we
Thanks,
think we
Paul.
did, guys?
I think we did.
That more.
I felt much lighter when I came back. So something definitely, it's Maty's work probably helped a lot. And then maybe karmic resolution, whatever that was, I felt much lighter. In fact, I used to have a pain behind my right ear, and that went away. And
Wow.
so definitely something happened there. I was wondering if we ever are able to do a shamanic ayahuasca journey together in future.
I can set that up in England.
That
Maybe
would
we
be really good. I went.
A
Yeah,
private
private
one, not
one, of
led
course.
by
Yeah,
Andrew.
yeah.
He won't do another one.
Yeah.
Because so many
Yeah.
people just turn up just for the drugs,
Yeah.
just for the actual druggy experience. But if if people are coming in
If
for
it's-
it, for the actual teaching, the healing, and the enlightening itself,
Right.
Then we can do that. We
facilitate.
certainly
Yeah,
can
I
do that.
want to experience it for the first time with a group that I trust, with
Yes.
teachers that I trust. That's why I don't want to just go anywhere. But if you guys put that together, I would be very interested to
I
come.
would
Thank you, Frida.
recommend.
Yes.
I would recommend that you try a gram of mushrooms first before you go into things like
See,
hardcore DMT sessions. Yeah,
I don't know where to get those things. People around me are very clean cut, right? Nobody knows anything.
It's a bit like my journey, Frida, and I would only feel confident doing anything like that with Dale, Maty, and Andrew.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, if
I
you
can
were to,
understand, why you'd like to do it that way. But we'll see what we can organise. I mean, we've got the we're trying to expand this healing tour, and that is part of healing. The
yes,
medicine journey is absolutely part of our healing. So
right.
it's something we could look at potentially, and obviously
Yeah.
we keep you all posted. And if there
But-
was another coach tour, well, who knows? There's so much in potential here.
Right, because it seems to me it's a good next step for us. We've done a lot of clearing as a group. We've done a lot of work, and now it would be okay, the next thing we can do. So
There were some people. Sorry, Dale. Go ahead.
Well, I definitely think, because I've already spoke to Andrew about ayahuasca, and he wouldn't want to be connected to setting something up. So we could do it, but we would have to do it separately from Andrew, and I'm sure he would join us, just because of the nature of the experience. And obviously, sometimes people, I'm not saying you will, but there are times people will go and they're not done the work at all. They've gone there and they will have not as the best time, but potentially that's what they had to have to experience what was in them. But yeah, I'd happily side. I know someone who can do privately. It would take was a call with them to set it up a time and a date and for everyone to go there. But it would be separate from the business and everything. Yeah, it'd be personal.
Okay, yeah, and that's fine.
As shamans, there's nothing to ruin your own personal trip more than having to rip several demons out of people all around of you because they haven't done the inner work. Whilst you're in the middle of your journey.
But
I'm willing to do all the particular preparation. I think like a few weeks before that, you need to do a complete detoxing, a certain diet and stuff like that. And I'm willing to do the work if I know what it is. Well, because
bring it back to the healing systems. The thing, this is the beauty of the healing systems, and you can take this from me, of someone who's tried every drug he came across in his youth. You know, this healing system that we have now, it absolutely replicates a medicine journey.
Right.
I mean, guys, you know, that Lucia light, you feel those charged particles in your wherever it focuses on your body. You know, it's not just giving you a visuals and a mystical experience. It's actually charging you with particles of light, photons of light. And their presence, you can feel it, and you have the whole afterglow. So that's the beauty of this system that we're developing now, which is that you get all of the benefits you would from a medicine journey, but without the what would you say, risk of ingesting medicine.
I see. You know, I wish you were in US. I would stop by next week. But it's hard. I cannot take vacation from work that often, but it would be maybe next 6 months or maybe 10 months from now. If you ever do that together, I'll have enough vacation.
We have things in the pipeline, Frida, and that's out to the audience at large. We have a lot in the pipeline. We will just we will just release it as and when we feel it's time to do so.
Perfect. Sign me up. I'll come.
It would be good as part of the healing modalities that we do now, wouldn't it? It would be really good to add it to the
medicine journey.
Yeah, just
find some people wobbling out if you do it at the wrong time, though. You have to be on full psychic guard.
Being honest with everyone who came on the tour, I'm sure everyone will be fine. We didn't have anyone freak out or go crazy. Those are the people you don't want to do ayahuasca with. Those people who can't even hold conversations or freak out all the time throughout the day. That's when you know innately they shouldn't be doing plant medicine. Yeah. But everyone who came on the bus, everyone was, we held our own. We continued. There was a lot of shit to do. So, yeah, I'm sure we'd be all fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the end of the show now. So just going around quickly, if there's anything you want to add or what the experience did for you in a whole. Sean, we'll start with you. So coming back to Canada, how do you feel and what can you use as a sum up for the Scotland experience?
He passed his test as well, didn't he?
And congratulations as well.
Yes.
Do you want to give everyone the great news as well we received in Scotland?
Yeah, around day 8 or 7 or 8, sometime like that, at the Ben Nevis, I passed my acupuncture exam. I'm a licensed acupuncturist in Canada. So that was really, hey, Jamila.
Hello.
Right at the end. There we go.
Yeah, I watched the whole time and I was like, oh, I have to talk to all of you now.
And you've got good
because you missed something so important. But I go last.
We shared our Loch Ness story, Jamila.
Yeah. Carry on,
Yes.
Sean.
Okay, but I got my acupuncture diploma and I was fucking stoked. I did my I remember it all like, and it was so exciting. It was the perfect time to get that. It was like this big rush all coming in. I was like, oh my God, I could see my future come in like a film reel. It was very, very, very exciting. And it just came in as an ecstatic emotion. Mm-hmm. So I did get that. And that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
And so how can people get hold of you if they need your services, Sean?
All right, so I'm still building up Well, I'm going to get a part-time job and start up my own healing business in Toronto, Canada soon. But I'm going to be turning on my website very soon, and it's going to be myinfinitehealth.ca. And I'm going to start publishing articles about Chinese medicine and just healing in general. So you just have an eye out. I'm going to do more shout outs about it. And that's how you can get a hold of me.
Jason?
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks,
My well, my takeaways, just what a phenomenal experience to be with so many people who were willing to like see the unseen, to go to this edge together. And I just learned from every single person. One of those people just showed up, Jamila. Like, you could take any of the individuals that we were sharing time with. Like, I was Sean's roommate. We learned from each other up and down all trip long. And then Jamila, like, in the grand scheme of things, watching like her personal growth, and then watching how she reminded me of myself in a lot of ways, and just the ingredients of each of you that I would like to reflect back to humanity, like the takeaway, and then take away Scotland and reflect that back to humanity. That's what I've taken home. It's a slowerness. It's, more intentional. So when things are kind of fast and coming at me and carelessly, like it is in a touristy area, I have all of you like with me, and Bonnie Scotland with me. That's like,
Bonnie Scotland, yes, me lad.
Bonnie Scotland.
Come on.
I love you, brother. You've been in our hearts as well.
it's like root. It's got your root. It's got your back. You guys have my back. I have your backs, and it was just awesome. So that's my takeaways.
Thank you
for now.
Yeah, brother.
Woohoo! Frida?
My takeaway, since I got so used to varieties of people there that mostly were in their, their spiritual side, coming back to Georgia and my new home now, which I was only there for 2 weeks before I came, and having to deal with the people who are always in their head, the gap has even enlarged for me. Now I'm in this two world. I have to always be in my professional side to cater to the demand of higher management, which I work with directly. And as an engineer, I have to always be in my head, analyze, they ask me solutions, I have to come up with ideas that helps the company. And then I have completely the other side that you guys have stretched a lot more than it was before. And now I have to, like, in these two worlds, I have to balance myself. So that's my life. But that's a journey I've selected to do. So, but please bear with me when I'm in my head too much. Please tolerate me, forgive me.
Oh, you didn't.
I could say the same thing.
Yeah, we all could. Yeah.
We love you.
Thank you, Frida.
Thank you. I love you guys. It was such a pleasure to meet every one of you.
Oh, and to you.
And you, sister.
Thank you.
Oh,
the talking stick is over to you.
Yes, welcome.
Yay. So actually, there's so many things. Wait, I have to put the rough draft away. So Frida, you were always so present.
Thank you.
Oh, you broke up, Jamila.
We got you on and you're gone.
No.
Yeah, no. It's my how do you call them, programs? I set an alarm clock. I set an alarm clock to this time to ring to do some banking work earlier this day. So my programs are very wise. They knew that they will interrupt something very nice right now. So listening to you for 3 or 4 times, I just wanted to jump in to correct certain things here, or to mention. Thank you, Sean, that you came skinny dipping with me. I never wanted to use this stupid bikini. I just thought I have to because we didn't know each other all yet. And I was like, fuck, shit, I have to put this on now. It will be wet on the bus. And then there was Sean helping me to do my skinny dipping into Loch Ness, which I wanted to do since 20 years. So that was great. Thank you.
Yay. Well done.
Yes.
And then it's very sad we can't show the pictures of the aftermath when Maty had his affair with the young lady there. I did quite some cute pictures also when he was sitting at the table, and Laura was like, look, he's in the unseen world working. And first he was sitting smiling, and then after a while he was sitting like this, still smiling, but and Andrew was like, she's just playing with her prey. She's having him for breakfast. He never had contact with an autistic woman before that way. He doesn't know what he's getting himself into. And Dale sitting there, I'm not going to do that. No, for sure not.
I'm not getting involved here, brother. Disengage.
So that was really fun. And also when you and Jason, the picture when Maty and you were standing there, and really I looked at it again. I can't stop laughing. I love it. Maty like this lost view, like thinking like what did just happen? And then Jason standing next to him like the space holder, with his head and the jacket and being all like looking in the distance there, So it was okay that we left without them in the small bus and they came later. They needed that, I guess.
Got my little dragon with me.
Left on the small bus.
And then now the most important thing why I then said, okay, I have to come to the show to mention that this stormy boat, it's the coolest thing if you have the space to just run around while the waves are going. Jason was just surfing with it, and we had this fun like little children. It was amazing. It was so cool. There are so many more aspects actually. Also when Sean and I were jumping like little children along this timeline that they were putting in this park, and we went back thousands of years jumping around like children.
Play.
Guys, I found him.
Yeah.
I found him.
You found the pictures. Okay, we'll see if we can get them up.
Get ready.
Maty, looking.
Jamila, I want to add one thing to the
Go
Walkman.
on, Sean.
My favorite part was just Maty saying, "Hey guys, you better put your clothes back on because there's a whole there's a whole group of tourists."
And they didn't even come so fast.
No.
Yeah.
One second.
We're about to see Maty looking quite distant.
Distant. Off in the distance.
Yes.
You're loading them up.
Did I say? Yeah, I've got them. I've got them. Just going to double check I've got both of them. And go on.
That's a bit low.
Right, there we go. That one. So, there we go, guys.
I have my body with me.
Bear with me. Almost done.
Excuse us while we sort out a few minor technical difficulties.
Go ahead, guys. While it'll
At least
give me
we
a
don't
minute.
lose our shoes, Sean.
Oh my gosh. I know, and Andrew was chiding me the whole time. He's like, "Are your shoes still there?"
Yes.
I felt like Jamila and Vivian were just so refreshing. Just the play that they encouraged in everybody as well. It was
They did,
it
yeah,
was lovely.
and Jason and Geraldine, and we all had a go at being a kid at some time, didn't we? Which was fun.
I want to add a quick backdrop too. So
Go
just
ahead.
one thing that was interesting in this trip was I was originally going to stay with Maty, and Jason was originally going to stay with Dale.
Mhm.
And then right at the very beginning, everything shifted up, and Dale and Maty roomed together, and me and Jason roomed together, and it was perfectly meant to be. There was so much stuff between us that we got to talk and bring up to
You
speed
ready?
with each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sean. I've got it, bro.
So this is Maty looking.
He's been getting the picture. Oh my god.
He just looks so lost.
That's what's been flashing in my head for the last 10 minutes.
That's Maty contemplating his life.
Yeah, it's like, looks like he's just about to go in there out of jail. It's like, oh my gosh.
That's the aftermath of Maty with the autistic.
Yeah. We had another one, didn't we, Jamila? I took one when we were on the boat straight afterwards, when he was gazing into the distance, wondering what he'd done.
Oh, there's a few hours.
Have we lost her?
Yeah.
Okay.
So guys, we're going to be back on Thursday, and you're all invited again to come on and continue on. We'll probably do the final part of the Scotland series. And I'd just like to say thank you to Maty, Laura. It's been incredible experiencing those coming over to York. We're doing the combined therapies and all the inspiring, exciting things which you're going to be dreaming in the future and doing together. And I just want to say, Frida, Sean, and Jason, you're incredible people, and it's an honor to have you on this journey together.
It is. Thank you guys for coming on.
And to everybody, Jamila, all the other people on the show,
Jamila,
on the tour.
And to Andrew.
And to Andrew.
The AB.
Couldn't get on tonight, and is the reason the tour got put together, and is the reason that this healing combined therapy tour has got together. And somebody asked in the chat, I think it was Lillian, please email me. She's asked about, are there spaces left for next Saturday, the 22nd in York? Yes, there are. If you email me, Laura2, number 2, feathers@gmail.com, or I've sent you a private message on your messenger. Have a look at that. Just email me. I can send you some details. I think we can still fit somebody else in. So let me know. And to everybody who's tuned in and listened to us tonight, thank you so much. This is an amazing group who came on this tour. I love you all.
Slangy.
Yes, Slangy. And to Rich, the bus driver. Maybe one day I'll watch this.
So, if you guys want to get a hold of me, it's Maty Waller, 2feathersmedicine@gmail.com. You can still go to 2feathersmedicine.com. That is our old website, so there are no actual products there for sale, but there is a link there where you can book a private session with me. And Dale?
So if you'd like to experience a psychic surgery session with myself, visit daletobin.com as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You know me, Laura at 2 Feathers Medicine. No, Laura 2 Feathers.
Laura 20.
Yeah, Laura 2 Feathers @gmail.com if you want a private session. But really the focus for the next couple of weeks is what we're doing here in York and carrying it across the UK. And we'll let those UK guys know where we're going to be as soon as possible.
And AndrewBartzis.com if you need the snorkel himself.
Yes.
Historical historian.
And anyone who's thinking about the next bus trip tour, you will never forget it. It's one of the most magical experiences.
Potentially, we may be going to Iceland. It's not. This is just a maybe. We may be seeing the Aurora Borealis near Christmas.
Iceland this year.
Wow.
We're trying to. We have a lot of work to do to organise things, but we would really like to do this. And I think we also need a shout out to Joel, our producer, who would have come and he couldn't come with us on this tour. And he is terrific support in the background, as is the ever-present David Ellis. Thank you, David, for all your wonderful support and putting all our Scotland videos together. Have I missed anybody out? And Jen, who works for Andrew, has been brilliant.
And also, guys, anybody who's in the UK, England specifically, we are looking to come Oxford, possibly. So if you're interested in our healing treatments, just get in touch with Laura on the before-mentioned email address, and we'll give you any details as they turn up.
Yeah, and maybe Wye Valley might be back on the tour. We're not sure. It's all up in the air. It depends on what venues we can get. Yeah. And if you email us and tell us what you want and where, then we will do our best to bring you the team. Andrew will be over here for quite a while yet, and if he does go back to the US, he might come over again, because we really want to get these wonderful combined therapies off the ground over here.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Slangy.
Yes.
Love you.
Love you,
guys.
Darling.
Bye, guys. It's great to see you again.
And you. Yep. Come on whenever you want. Thank you.
See y'all.
See you on the other side.
Yeah.
See you.
Wow.
Stream.